Hey, and welcome. This is Bloody Painter Dating Sim. Let's get to it. With a severe headache, you wake up in a unfamiliar place. As you touch a bruise on the back of your head, it seems you were hit by something heavy before you lost consciousness. A heavy iron chain tied around your feet. Someone has trapped you here. You try to remember what happened before you lost consciousness, but you can't recall anything. Let's investigate the surroundings first. Alright, let's check the wall. The room is surrounded by 4 walls, without any windows. It's weirdly cleaned up, and no ashes or sand can be seen. Looks like a prison built by a germaphobe. Let's try the cell phone. No signal. I might be in a remote place or on the ground. Let's do the mattress. There's a mattress on the floor. The mattress feels really hard to lie on. Let's try the meal. Near the door, there's a serving of spaghetti with tomato sauce and a bottle of water. Also a round plastic fork that's completely harmless was softly attached. It's still warm. It feels like it was sent here not long ago. Let's try the door. You peek through the keyhole, but you see nothing outside. I wonder where I am. I think that concludes our investigation. What's the next move? Yell for help, listen, knock over a meal, or sleep? Let's try yelling for help. Nobody answers. Let's try listening. You hear any sound other than your own breathing. The soundproof in this room seems particularly good. Knock over meal. I don't think that's a good idea. I think we should save that just in case we get hungry. I think the next step is we should sleep. Yes. You lay on the bed. You try to sleep under this condition. Maybe it's a fatigue caused by nervousness, but you still fall asleep. Someone came in. You open your eyes after hearing some noises. A tall man wearing a mask is squatting on the ground and looking at you, with his head tilted. He remains silent, as if he is sizing up his prey. He points to the plate on the floor, like indicating that you should finish your meal quickly. Thinking that a strange man might have poisoned a meal, you shake your head in fear. Seeing you have no intention of eating, he looks quite distressed.
You can't die.
Oh, you can talk. He has a voice.
Not now.
He slowly speaks with a deep and steady voice.
The freezer is full.
What does that mean?
The freezer is full, and there's no space for more. 7 days.
He pauses and thinks.
There won't be space until 7 days later. If you die now, you'll rot.
What do you mean? So I only have 7 days left to live. He nods and walks out the door. Wait. You can't just leave me like this. Please. Your cries can't stop the door from closing. Day 1, night. Let's investigate the surroundings first. Let's check out the meal. A bread and a bottle of water. Let's try the door. You peek outside from the keyhole. You see the shadow of the man walking around. He seems to be busy with something. What is he doing? Let's check the mattress. We can't eat a meal yet, so I think we should probably sleep. Please try to improve your survival rate within 7 days. And I'll try. Day 2 morning. Let's investigate and look around. The meal. Empty plate. You check the keyhole. You seem to see something. You see that there is a vague figure at the end of the door. Let's observe quietly. You sense something wrong and realize what that is after narrowing your eyes. There's an artwork made of the human body, not a human being. That was my scream for help. You hear the door open. You slowly push the door, and there's no trace of the strange man. First, you go into a room with a large freezer, sink, and operating table. Then you open another heavy door. You find yourself in a room full of glass and plate jars. The jars are all filled with specimens made from human body parts. It's like you're in an art museum. Could it be that he wanted to freeze me as material for specimen artwork? You're thinking. You see this scene. Let's see. Frick. Run away. Admire the artworks. I gotta be honest. They look pretty good. I'm a fan of these kind of drawings. So I'm gonna choose that one. I'm going to admire them. You look around and admire his work with relish. You look at them for 15 minutes straight.
Interesting.
You hear a voice coming from the corner. It turns out the man has been watching you from a blind spot behind the glass cabinet. I like them. They are so beautiful. The man goes silent with his head tilted for a couple of seconds after hearing your comments. He seems to be thinking about something.
Don't you consider it cruel or bloodthirsty to them?
No, I feel nothing at all.
You're such a weirdo.
You think. Aren't you talking about yourself? After every tour in his display room, he locks you back in the small room you were in. You go to sleep to end the day. Not bad. We didn't die. We survived. Your survival rate increases. There we go. Day 3 night. Until noon, you don't see breakfast or lunch being delivered. You're already starving. You're waiting for him to bring dinner. What you get is not dinner. Instead, you hear the door was opened. The light shines through the crack of the half-open door, looking like an intriguing invitation. You open the door and walk into that light. You first arrive at the room with an operating table outside the door. But this time, the operating table is not empty. There's a defrosted human corpse on it. The man pops out of somewhere. He unties the iron chains from your feet and hands a surgical knife in his hand to you.
First, where do you think the first cut should be?
His voice tone sounds cold, like the kind of teacher who gives students hard questions on purpose. Let's see. Attack him with a surgical knife. Can't do it. Stab the corpse. Well, I think he's pretty cool. He's been nice, you know. he's been feeding us spaghetti and some bread. So, I don't want to judge him too quickly. Let's have the corpse. Maybe beautiful works always comes with some sacrifices. Without hesitation, you stab the abdomen of the corpse with a knife. But due to lack of professionalism, the lines you cut are crooked and ugly. And this is when he gets close behind your back and holds your hand. You are both holding the surgical knife, like you two are cutting a cake together. With his hand, the lines you cut become smooth and clean. You can smell notes of perfume on him due to how close you are. It seems to be sprayed to cover the smell of formalin. You can feel his warmth with your back, but his fingers are a little cold. He's focusing on cutting the corpse. Your hand keeps moving under his lead. He could have killed you or ignored you, but he didn't. You start to speculate on the purpose of his behaviors. Could it be that he wants someone who can ignore the cruelty and process and understand him? You think. After the happy credit time ends, you are locked in the room you were in. You go to sleep to end the day. Day 4, noon. Until noon, you don't see breakfast or lunch being delivered. You're already starving. You notice that something is shining at the corner. A key. It seems like the man accidentally dropped it last night. You open the door with the key. You go past the operating table, where you two spent creative time together last night. The display room. Then you discover that there are unnatural even marks from one wall to the corner. You find a trapdoor. After pushing a trapdoor, you see a normal basement storage room. At the corner of the storage room, you see a stair that goes up. It turns out that this is really an underground secret room. Hidden layer by layer with trapdoor. The wonder of sound installation is so good. You walk up the stairs to see a heavy wooden board. You push it hard. What catches your eye is the interior of a cozy cabin. Then you realize the heavy wooden board you just pushed is the back of a bookcase. You look around to find that there are insect specimens everywhere in the cabin. There's also a reindeer head specimen hanging on the wall. Then you walk into the living room. You see a young man with a handsome face and pale skin lying on the sofa. The ocean-scented perfume and the faint smell of formalin emanates from his body. It's him. He is the masked man who kidnapped you. But he's not wearing a mask at this time. His sleeping face has a ferocious expression. His neck is sweating, and he seems to be trembling. It looks like he's sick. At this time, you decide to, let's see, take the opportunity to escape, stay and take care of him. We are going to stay and take care of him. If you can't tell, my goal is to romance the Bloody Painter. You can't bear to leave him alone, so you reach out and touch his forehead. Whoa, so hot. You try to find something that can cool him down. Let's investigate. Let's check the living room. The living room is spotlessly clean. Where to investigate next? Let's check the man. His expression is ferocious. He seems to be in pain. He's still having a fever. Let's check the sofa. You don't think it's good for a patient to sleep on the sofa, but you can't move him with your strength. Let's try the specimens. He feels like he did them all. The workmanship of these specimens is exquisite. Let's try the photo frame. There's a photo frame on the shelf. It's a photo of him standing at the entrance of the Judicial Mental Hospital with a man in a doctor's robe. Let's try the shelf. Cocoa powder. There's a jar of cocoa powder and a cup on it. Let's make him a cup of cocoa. Let's try something else here, the locked box. There's a box with a combination lock on the shelf. Let's see. Let's try the bookcase. You find some of his profile files in the bookcase. Name, Helen Otis, gender male. Birthday, October 1st, 1980. Could that be the code? Let's try 1980. I'm not sure what the code is, so I think here we end the investigation. Let's check the kitchen. The kitchen is spotlessly clean. There's some ice cubes in it. These can cool down his body temperature. Let's check the cabinets. You find some clean towels in the kitchen cabinets. I can soak a towel in ice water and place it on the patient's forehead to cool him down. Alright. Let's end the investigation. You return to the living room, wring out the excess water from a towel soaked in ice water, and place it on his forehead. His ferocious expression gradually softened. You once again notice his fair skin and long eyelashes and his slightly curly black hair. If you don't say he's a murderer, his sleepy face looks very harmless now. After a while, he wakes up to the scent of your brewing cocoa and sits up on the couch. He looks a little shocked. He looks around quickly and seems to understand what is going on.
Why are you doing this?
I want to ask myself that too.
You saw me faint and didn't choose to run away. You're such a weirdo.
Is there anyone weirder than you in this house? You can't help but complain about him. You seem to see the corners of his mouth rising slightly for a few seconds, and the atmosphere between you relaxes. He doesn't drink the cocoa you brewed for him. It seems that he's still a little wary of you. Can you tell me who you are?
Bloody Painter. That's the name they gave me for my modus operandi. If you find it difficult to pronounce, you can call me BP.
Even though what he told you was just a nickname, at least you know how to call him now. After the brief conversation on the sofa, he does not lock you back in the underground secret room. Perhaps saying to take care of him when he fell ill was enough to prove that you won't run away. You get up from the sofa and continue to look at the specimen, decorations, in the living room. He sits on the sofa, crosses his legs, picks up a book, and starts reading.
By the way, you better not try to escape. There are traps all around the cabin, and only I know how to get in and out safely.
You sit on the sofa. Soon, a wave of sleepiness comes over you. Today you fall asleep on the sofa in the living room, not in the cold underground secret room. Your survival rate increases. Day 5, morning. You see him busy cleaning in and out of the house early in the morning. I'll come help too. After finishing speaking, you pick up the rag and bucket and join the cleaning. But you can't really see where this almost spotless house needs to be cleaned. You were just taking a clean wet rag and wiping it on the clean cabinet. Did you usually love cleaning this much?
It would soon be covered with a layer of dust.
Although he doesn't talk much, his tone of voice gives you a gentle feeling and doesn't make you feel nervous. You climb up the short ladder and wipe the high cabinets with a rag. Suddenly, a cockroach crawls out from the crack in the cabinet. You were so frightened that you lose your balance and fall backwards. You close your eyes. What you get is not the pain of falling to the ground, but a warm feeling. You open your eyes and find that he's holding you like you were a princess. He caresses you with the same old cold expression on his face.
Are you all right?
Perhaps to resolve the awkwardness, he asks. I'm alright. It was just a cockroach. Hearing the word cockroach, he puts you down. He takes 2 steps back for the cabinet you just wiped, then says calmly,
Don't come near here yet.
Why?
It's dangerous.
You can't help but choke out the thought of a murderer being afraid of cockroaches. Fine, whatever you say. The interaction just makes you feel a little warmth from this cold murderer. At least you see more of his reactions and expressions. This is a rare relaxation you have felt in these tense days. He could have let you fall off the ladder, but he rushed over to catch you. Somehow, you feel that after these few days of getting along, maybe now, you both have different ideas about each other than you originally had. It was only a clear relationship between a murderer who wanted to hunt and a prey who was trying to escape. But now, it has an extra layer of friendship, causing the interaction between you to have an indescribable sense of dissonance. Just when you pick up the old newspaper and prepare to wipe the windows, you find a police car parked on the road in the distance. 2 police officers get out of the car. They keep looking towards the cabin. At some point, BP is already behind you, looking at the window with you.
Wait for a second.
And then, he walks out the door to talk to the police officers.
Is there anything I can help you with?
Are you Mr. Otis?
Yes, I am.
Have you ever seen these people around here? The police officer takes out some photos from his pocket.
Have these people committed a crime and are running away?
No. These people are the missing people around this area.
I haven't seen them before, but wolves and bears often appear around here.
Can we check out your cabin?
Yes, come in.
BP behaves very kindly and politely. After speaking, he leads the way for the police officers.
Please, follow my footsteps. I placed some traps near the cabin to protect against wild wolves and bears. You don't want to step on them.
The police officers enter the house and see you. Hello, this is...
An old friend who came to visit me recently.
You greet the police officers with a smile and a nod. At the same time, a police officer quickly looks through the missing person's photos in his hand, and he puts the photo back into his pocket. It seems that your disappearance has not been discovered by anyone yet. You stand next to the bookcase, blocking the entrance to the secret room. After searching around, the police find nothing unusual and leave. His trust in you increases. Today you sleep on the couch in the living room instead of in the cold basement. Half asleep, you hear the sound of someone approaching. When you notice it, the person seems to be very close to you. You pretend to be asleep, and the person just looks at your sleeping face quietly. The man stretches out his hand and he takes it back just as he's about to touch your hair. He turns around and leaves. Day 6, morning. You see him busy in the kitchen for a while. The breakfast is served in front of you. There's a piece of toast with just the right crispiness on the large round plate, a poached egg on top of the toast, and some lettuce salad. That looks really good. Damn. I want that. The plating looks delicious. The drink is a cup of freshly brewed hot cocoa. The culture he gives you is still a round plastic fork with no offensive features. You sit at the dining table and start eating, while he sits on a chair opposite of you and flips through a book. He's still sewing outside and listen to the squeaky sound of the fireplace. The atmosphere in the cabin is particularly comfortable. As long as you ignore the fact that you are in the same room with the murderer who kidnapped you, everything is really relaxing. You look at him who is full of mysteries as the questions arise in your mind. You decide to. Let's ask carefully. Can I ask you a question?
What is it?
Let's see. What book do you usually read?
Usually, I would read some anatomy and taxidermy books, but today is different.
What are you reading today?
The Truman Show.
What is the book like?
The whole world that the protagonist lives in, including himself, is all just someone's creation. Everything that happens is watched by the audience, and there is no privacy at all. But he is completely unaware that he is in such a large theater. Very ridiculous, right? I can't imagine this to happen in reality, or to me. If our world was like the Truman Show, how would the audience view the current situation?
Let's try... Must be excited.
Excited? Why?
They may be attracted by your charm and want to be killed by you.
Incomprehensible. But what a bunch of weirdos with good taste.
It's hard to tell from his poker face whether he's seriously boasting or joking. Let's do... See, pick up the book next to you and read it. What work are you going to use me for? About potted plants. Let's try the second one. You pick up the book next to you and start flipping through. It's a book about the possibility of having a completely opposite version of yourself in a parallel world. If there's a complete opposite version of you, what do you think it will be like?
Oh, that book. Let me think. Probably a guy wearing a burgundy coat and always having a smile on his face.
Why is it a burgundy coat?
Because I like blue. If he is the opposite of me, he should like red, right?
That makes sense. Let's try... What work are you going to use me for? You ask bravely. He looks up at you for a moment.
I was going to make you into some kind of doll at first. Your eyes are beautiful, but if they are left alone, they'll become rotten and sunken. So I would like to dig your eyes out and put them in a glass jar and soak them in formalin to preserve them. Glass beads will be placed in the empty eye sockets to replace the eyes. You look very pleasing to the eye, so I would also like to keep the head intact.
Okay. Thanks for the compliment.
You're welcome.
Why did he say at first? Has his mind changed? You are curious, but you don't have the guts to ask any further. Let's ask about potted plants. I saw many potted plants on the shelves in the living room, but why were they all withered?
I have tried my best. I don't know why they always die.
Okay, end conversation. Day 6, noon. It's noon time. To thank you for making breakfast for me today, let me make lunch and return. He frowns at you with an expression like, are you out of your mind? Don't worry. You see there are traps outside the house. Only you know how to get in and out normally. Even though I resist you with a knife, I can escape.
Okay, but I'll keep an eye on you. Don't try anything stupid.
Great. As for what to cook and the ingredients, well, a bad idea flashes through your head, and curiosity makes you ask. Did you eat human flesh?
No, why would I do that? I just use human bodies as materials for making art, and I never think about eating them.
I thought you murderers all had some degree of cannibalism.
Let's put it this way. Do you eat paint and painting tools?
Okay, that's totally fair.
Just because I kill people to use as materials to make works doesn't mean I will eat them. Also, I'm different from those who have fun committing a crime and kill purely for the sake of killing. Don't confuse me with that kind of unprincipled guy.
Okay, I won't. Sorry about that.
I wouldn't do anything unless necessary. You are here only because you witnessed the crime scene.
I see. After hearing this, you decide to... Let's see. Cook a common dish. You look at the ingredients in the refrigerator. There are eggs, tomatoes, white rice, and some curry powder on the shelf. Okay, I've decided. You turn on the oven and start to cook. BP watches the entire production process. Rather than worrying about you escaping, she's more worried about you blowing up the kitchen. Soon after, A normal curry, almond rice, was served. He stares at the almond rice, without saying a word. Don't worry, there's no poison. Weren't you watching the whole process? He starts to move after you finish speaking. He takes a spoonful of almond rice and he puts it in his mouth. What do you think?
It's surprisingly quite delicious.
What's wrong?
Nothing. It's just that no one has cooked for me for a long time.
I can make you more if you like. You had a fairly pleasant afternoon. Day 6. Late at night.
Hey!
You are woken from your sleep by the man. His face is close to you, and his blue eyes are staring at you. What's wrong? You sit up on the couch and rub your eyes.
Got to go.
Got to go.
I've noticed something unusual about the number of police cars patrolling nearby recently. They must have some relevant evidence and are doubting it. It is very likely there is an ambush outside. It's snowing heavily outside now, and I think it's time to leave now. Come with me or not, it's your choice.
You choose to. We are definitely going with him. That's the whole reason I've been making choices I've been making. Let's go. What do you want me to do? I'm fine with both choices, but I need you to look me in the eyes and tell me, what do you prefer me to do? You stare at his eyes.
I prefer.
He hesitates to speak and looks away, looking like he's thinking about something. Hold his hand. Your behavior makes him a little panicked, and he doesn't seem to be good at this kind of situation. You notice that his ears are flushed, and this unexpected reaction makes you want to tease him a little bit. What do you prefer me to do?
I prefer.
After a moment of silence, he slowly speaks.
That you come with me.
He tries hard to look you in the eyes and speak his thoughts.
We'll set off early tomorrow morning.
Day 7.
Follow my footsteps.
You follow the shoe prints he leaves on the snow and find succeed in avoiding the many traps around the cabin. Just as you're walking through the forest, you hear a movement behind you. Freeze! In the snowstorm, several policemen who are lying in ambush chase after you. You ignore them and keep running forward. Bang! A gunshot shoots across the sky. You feel the pain in your left calf. You are shot. He turns to look at you as he's considering whether to leave you. Run. You yell at him. But he approaches you. And he holds you in his arms. You feel the warmth on your forehead. He kisses your forehead. You feel the time freezes at this moment. The kiss is almost like a goodbye. Then he leaves you and runs forward, disappearing into the heavy snow. You were later taken back to the police for questioning. You say throughout the process that you were a victim. On that note, you're not lying. You don't reveal any unnecessary details. Since there's no relevant evidence to prove that you were an accomplice, the police cannot release you after a long period of interrogation. After that, two years passed. Now you live in a cheap little apartment. You live an ordinary life, as if what happened 2 years ago never happened. Today is Halloween, and every household nearby has put some thought into making decorations, but for you, it's just another day at work. When you return to your apartment after getting off work in the evening, the strange thing is that as soon as you open your door, you feel a gust of wind. You remember that you closed the window before going out. Just when you were about to close the window, you find a gift left by someone on the table next to the windowsill. A red rose. You don't know why, but you have a feeling that BP has been here. Every Halloween after that, you receive a rose at your residence. It's like a once-a-year greeting. Although he says nothing, the rose seems to tell everything. Although you have certain similarities, you are two people for different worlds, after all. Perhaps living your own life this way is the best outcome for both of you. Good end for two different worlds. And that was a buddy painter dating sim. So there are multiple endings to this game, but I'm satisfied on how it ended. And I'm going to stick with it. We are going to leave it at that. That's the ending we got. It was a nice, good, happy ending. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.